A HUD foreclosure home is a property owned by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, in other words, the federal government. They foreclosed on a homeowner and took back the property, and these government-owned homes can be great deals for you to wholesale or flip, but you need to understand how to do it. So in today's video, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about how to buy HUD foreclosures cheap, coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Data Cruncher software, which finds cheap houses in your area. Get it now at mydatacruncher.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications so you don't miss new videos. In order to find and buy HUD foreclosed properties, you first need to know the backstory. It all starts with a homeowner who gets an FHA insured loan to buy a house. FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. An FHA loan is a mortgage issued by an FHA approved lender and insured by the Federal Housing Administration, FHA. That's a very important distinction. The Federal Housing Administration doesn't actually lend the money for a mortgage. Instead, a qualified borrower gets a loan from an FHA approved lender like a bank, and then FHA guarantees the loan. FHA insured loans are designed to help low to moderate income borrowers, and as such, FHA loans require a lower minimum down payment and lower credit score than many conventional loans. And while FHA doesn't lend the money, what it does do is backs the loan. Essentially, if a borrower defaults on the loan, FHA, aka our tax dollars, will pay back the lender, foreclose on the borrower, sell the property, and recover as much of the loss as possible. It's a win for low-income borrowers who can now buy a home that they wouldn't otherwise be able to qualify for, and lenders win because they make money doing loans and are protected by having the government back the loans. Now, the only one who doesn't win is the taxpayer, but that's another story. Let's not forget, FHA borrowers can qualify with a very low down payment, as little as 3.5%, and a lower credit score like a 580. So if for whatever reason the borrower ends up unable to pay his monthly mortgage and ends up in foreclosure, then HUD will end up owning the home. So a HUD home is a foreclosed FHA-backed loan, and once HUD owns the property, they will resell it on the open market to recoup as much of the loss as they can. Now, this is where there's an opportunity for you as an investor, and yes, you can wholesale HUD homes. I'll explain that too, so keep watching. HUD homes can be a source of good deals for investors because they are more than likely distressed and offered for sale at a discount. This is indicative of most foreclosed homes due to the foreclosure process and the homes having been vacant and neglected for who knows how long. I started my investing career in Detroit, and many of the foreclosed properties that I bought had extensive water and mold issues from pipes bursting in the winter. Furthermore, HUD is often motivated to sell these properties at a discount to recover costs paid out to the lender and to avoid further management costs to maintain the home. Believe it or not, finding HUD homes is pretty easy. There is a government-backed website called HUDHomestore.com. Now, this site enables you to easily search for HUD homes anywhere in the country. You can search by a number of criteria, including city, zip code, and even price range. Currently, HUD updates the site every Friday. Now, this is important to know because you can promptly check the site once it's updated, find the properties you're interested in going after. Pay close attention to the category field called buyer type. Now, this indicates who is eligible to make an offer on the home. Here's the complete list you have to choose from: all, owner occupant, investor, good neighbor next door, government agency, and nonprofit. Now, as an investor, always choose the all category or the investor category. The all category means it's open to all bidders, and the investor category means investors are able to bid on the home. Now, this is critical because new listings are often reserved for just owner occupants or owners who are going to personally live in the home. HUD wants to give homeowners first shot before investors. In a lot of cases, HUD homes are not available for investors for the first 10 days, but sometimes longer, so always use the all or investor filter. And just in case you're wondering, if you buy the property as an owner-occupant, you have to live in the home for at least a year after you buy it. Let me share with you some tips when making offers on HUD properties. First of all, my experience is that once a property is open to investors, if it's priced right, it sells quickly. You need to be prepared to act fast. One thing to have ready ahead of time is proof of funds. HUD requires that you either have liquid cash in the amount of your offer that you can show in the form of a checking or savings bank statement. This is called a hard proof of funds, or you have a proof of funds letter from a lending institution, which is known as a soft proof of funds. By the way, if you're a pro or prime level subscriber to my deal management system called FLIPSTER, then you get unlimited custom proof of funds letters for as many offers as you want. Now, if you've never heard of FLIPSTER, it's a cloud-based, all-inclusive platform for running your entire wholesaling and house flipping business. Whether you're working on your first deal or you want to ramp up and do even more deals each month, FLIPSTER can help you get there. To check it out and see it in action, just go to getflipster.com. And for a more comprehensive breakdown on everything you need to know about proof of funds, I have a video just for you. I'll put a link in the description box below and you can watch it later. Another tip when going after HUD homes is to be sure you have enough cash for an earnest money deposit. Now, security deposits are generally between $500 and $1,000. Once your offer is accepted, you are required to submit the deposit. Now, this secures the contract with HUD and your deposit will get credited back to you at closing. If you're wholesaling the property, your cash buyer will end up reimbursing you for that later, but you still need to provide it initially up front. Finally, if you plan on wholesaling the property, keep in mind, HUD properties have a no assignment clause. Just like bank-owned properties, HUD tries to dissuade assigning contracts. If you're unfamiliar with the no assignment clause, I did a video where I explain it in detail. Link to that video in the description. One of the requirements to make an offer on a HUD home is to provide your social security number if you're buying in your personal name, or a federal tax ID or EIN number if you're making the offer in an entity name. Now, you can still wholesale a HUD home, but because of the no assignment clause, you would have to do a double closing, which is not ideal. Now, to really understand how to wholesale doing a double closing, I have a video that explains it, link in the description. But a double closing costs you fees as a wholesaler, so it's worth learning my hack strategy for how to avoid doing double closings and still do a single closing wholesaling using a designated LLC. Basically create an LLC that is used as the entity buying the property and then sell your ownership of the entity to your cash buyer. Now the cash buyer becomes the new member of the LLC and purchases the property. Following this technique, the contract is not assigned. Of course, I have a video that breaks it down step by step, link in the description. Now I've done this LLC hack strategy hundreds of times on HUD and bank properties, so if you're serious about wholesaling HUD and bank properties, it's a must-have strategy. Hey, if you learned something new in this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, and if you plan on adding HUD properties to your arsenal of deal finding strategies, leave a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel with hundreds of videos and new videos released every week. This is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping. And finally, watch this next video where I show a really cool way to find fixer-upper properties for cheap on redfin.com. Now watch that now, and I'll see you on the next video.